What is up, ACL Nation? Welcome into Baggin Braggin episode 22, fresh off of an amazing shootout and an amazing open out in Mesa, Arizona, not to mention an amazing venue where we got to go play in a little blind draw on Thursday. We had a lot of fun out there. Meesh handed it to me, and Rich Chamness let me down. It's all his fault. And then I returned the favor by letting Cash Chamness down. So,
keep it rolling. Just keep it rolling.
Sorry about that. My bad. But we had an amazing time. We're getting ready to go into Portland. Today's episode is going to be rapid fire. We got no time to breathe or anything like that. We're going from interview with Brayden Wilson, the future of Cornell, along with Nic Feinstein, the owner of Whole 9 Yards. This is episode number 22, the very first episode after episode 21. So now that I got that cleared away, what up, Meesh? How you doing?
What does that even mean?
I have to make up our own intro because even though we're the most viewed ACL show on YouTube, we got to make the intros a lot more exciting because there's no actual footage.
Well, we're not. Around the ACL beats us, so that's actually not true.
Well, the ones I watched, the ones I looked at.
Oh, okay, got it. No, yeah, that's fine.
It's
I just want to give.
It's selective.
I mean, our show is definitely better on YouTube because we always have these highlight reels that are super fun to watch. And yeah, I would recommend that. But if you're on the podcast, we appreciate you as well. Yeah. Been a fun little weekend. It's nice. I keep bragging about the fact that it's West Coast events. Let's go. I sure do appreciate events that are only hour-and-a-half flights for me. Great news for Meesh. I know not great news for just about everybody else.
It wasn't bad. It gets bright early out there, though.
It does.
It does. That's something that's going to take some getting used to. I always wonder why Nick is calling me at like 5 o'clock in the morning. It's sunny out there at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm like,
yeah. It is very short. I felt like Arizona was more like we had to wake up at 6, I think 5:36 for the airport. And I was actually shocked at how bright it was. Now I know daylight savings is happening, summer's here, so that's a big part of it. But it's kind of like, all right, I don't know if I'm quite awake, son. Like, I don't know if you should be awake yet, but here we are. Whole 9 yards, you guys, you have to listen to the interview. It's so cool to hear the vision and where it's going. And everything he talks about is so true because that place is perfect for any cornhole player. Like, they've literally thought of everything.
Yeah, no, I had a blast. I was kind of blown away. I thought it'd be nice. I didn't realize it'd be that nice. So job well done to them out there. Todd Kosicki, Nic Feinstein, excellent job. I kind of want to brag a little bit on the juniors division, Meesh.
As you should.
It is getting very, very interesting. We're going to interview Brayden here in a little bit. But Ian Cripps, Brayden Wilson putting on a show. We're sitting here going through these 18U players and then the players that are under 16. So right now, there is a rule in place in the ACL that no one else under 16 will be allowed to be an ACL pro. Now, I talked with Trey Ryder about all that, and they're going to have discussions here in the next 2-3 weeks about maybe changing that based on what the discussions are going with these different, DraftKings and other gambling sites and stuff like that. So that might open up. But for the purpose of this discussion, we're going to kind of base things off of what the rules are set in place right now, which is that only between 16 and 18, you'll actually be able to be an ACL pro. Anyone below that will be offered a PDC spot as long as they qualify. So I went through the standings. Ryan Wiedenfeld is number 2. So Ryan Wiedenfeld's locked in. He is over 16, so he's in that ACL pro category. Now, if you're currently in there as an ACL pro, you're locked in. Bella, she's got, I believe, the number 1 ranked women's standing for the rest of the season, and she's in there for pro singles. She's in there for pro doubles. Bella's in, okay? So that takes up 2 spots. You don't have to worry about Caden Allen. He's high up in the rankings, but he's going to be over 18. Brady Foster is above Brayden Wilson, but he's going to be over 18, so that's not going to be an issue for them there. Brayden Wilson is currently locked in at the 18th spot with 4,957 points. Ryan Trader is number 20 with 4,955 points. Jaden Ellis is number 29 with 4,951 points. So whenever I say these next 3 opens are very important, I'm not lying. It's going to come down to the wire as far as how these are going to play themselves out. So, Fisher Hamilton's one's going to age out. Caleb Batson's going to age out. We got to keep an eye on Michaela Calvi, Landon Bass, just to name a few other ones. But this juniors division that we have right now is just absolutely stacked. So I'm pretty sure, based on what the conversation that I had with Trey is, Brayden, Ryan Trader, Jaden Ellis, I think they're all pretty much going to be in there as far as PDC rankings are concerned, as being offered a pro contract. But the fact that I even went through 100 names in the standings and there's at least 10% that are in the juniors division is remarkable.
That's crazy.
And we talked to Brayden here. He's like, I've been throwing for 3 years. And it's kind of like, it's sickening in a way. It's like, I put in 5 years. Now, granted, I got interrupted with the commentator. Who knows how good I could have been if it wasn't for this job.
The potential is there.
Yeah,
we just didn't get to reach it.
Yeah, I was just born in the wrong era is all, But I mean, no, it's just remarkable. And not only are they just high in standing, so yeah, they're winning their points. Ryan Wiedenfeld plays in Nebraska, but I mean, he's elite talent level.
Yeah.
So they're putting on the shows. It's not that they're just getting the points. They are legit some of the best in the country.
Yeah, it's for real. Now, so there's going to be 2 spots essentially open. And I'm assuming Vincent Frisch gets moved from PDC to pro.
Yeah, I don't know how you can't move him. I don't know what his pro ranking is. I only looked at the open rankings, but I mean, Vincent Frisch, strong out of the PDC every single time. So he's going, pretty decent in these brackets. Huge upset last time over Matt Guy.
Yeah.
I mean, Vincent Frisch, if there is a, recognition part of this process, he needs to be in.
Yeah, exactly. And then I don't know, Sammy Soto. I mean, it's hard to say who that second, because Sammy Soto will be over 16, right? He's 15 now or 16.
I think Sammy Soto's around 15 or 16 age range. So he's another one of these young guys who deserves to be in. But I mean, yeah, there's just not enough spots as far as it goes right now with the 8 spots. So hopefully the conversations over the next 2 or 3 weeks opens up quite a bit. I know Ian Cripps is currently in there. So he's basically grandfathered in as long as he still qualifies off of the criteria going forward, which is basically pro, top 50 doubles, and then top 100 singles is going to be at the bottom of this category. So as long as these other people qualify, then they'll take the singles standings into consideration. But it's going to be interesting how it shakes down over these next 3 opens. It's, like I said, very, very important for these juniors to get out there and have a good showing.
Yeah, no pressure. You guys can do it. I believe in you. All right, we're going to take a quick break and come back with one of those young players right after this. We are back with our first interview, which is going to be the one and only Brayden Wilson. He's 11 years old. He's been playing cornhole for 3 whole years, which is longer than me, by the way. Somehow, yet he's just a little guy. And so much better than me and Wally, by the way. I'm going to throw you in there, Wally.
I'll allow it.
Yeah, he's better than us. But Brayden, welcome to the show. We're happy to have you.
Thank you for having me, man. This is like been a goal for 3 years, basically. So
to be on our show?
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
to be interviewed.
I feel like he's been prepped.
Did you go do a dry run before this or something?
Well, me and my dad have been practicing for probably 3 months now, but he said it's gonna come, so you better be prepared. So
I love it. Hey, that's more preparation than any of our other guests, right, Wally?
100%. I mean, let's actually go ahead and start right there then, Brayden. The support that you got with your mom and your dad traveling all across the country, obviously you can't do it on your own. Talk about how important it is to have them in your corner, and not only that, but willing to chase this dream of an 11-year-old of qualifying as an ACL pro. And let's talk about your parents real quick.
It's amazing. I just love it because they're by my side through everything. So.
Yeah, not just them, but I mean, every time there's a Texas match going on, you got Deborah Odom there, AJ Sims is there, Eddie. You got everyone from Texas basically sitting there behind your back. It's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. I love seeing your little entourage following you around, if you will.
Yes, I got a great group behind me, through Texas, Deb, KB, AJ, Jaime, just a bunch of people, and it's just a lot of fun to have them on my side.
All right, Brayden. So obviously the mechanics of cornhole people can master with time, and you absolutely have. How have you approached the mental side of the game?
My dad said that's like a huge part of it, and he's been trying to get me a lot better at it, and I've gotten a lot better. He said, every time you have an attitude, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose because you can't have an attitude. If you miss a bag, you gotta let it go, and just let it go. Focus on the next bag. It's in the past. It's already happened.
Wise words.
Yeah, I might have stole that little coaching there from Frozen, but once you let it go, you gotta let it go.
Yeah.
You're going Elsa on us.
Yeah. Elsa, you change your game. When we look at Devin Harbaugh is talking about, you got to respect the mental part of the game. AJ Sims was like, you're a fool if you don't believe that the mental part of the game is as important as it is. So
huge part of the game.
Easy to say though, like how are you able to keep your emotions like calm without having big reactions? You are just 11 years old.
I just want to keep them calm. So can you repeat the question? Cause
yeah, just so when you miss a bag or something and you feel like frustrated or whatever, like are you able to just feel it and let it go, or what's going through your head at that time? Like how do you stay calm?
A little frustrated, then after that round I'll try and let it go, and I will. And then the next round I'll just get back to my normal stuff. And
what about like pressure? Do you feel like nerves or pressure?
Not really, because they're when I play another kid, kinda, I'm like, all right, here you go. If they beat you, they're gonna brag, and stuff like that. But when I'm playing like an adult, say my dad or something, or somebody around here, I'm like, no pressure. I'm just you can beat them. You have no pressure. They're not gonna brag.
So do you look forward to these tough matchups against some of these elite pros, or do you see their name come up in the bracket and you're kind of like, oh man, I hope this is a good one? What's your mindset going into these tough matchups?
I'm just ready to play because I want to have fun, and if I beat them, and I can say I beat a pro.
True. Mm-hmm. What do your fellow non-cornhole playing friends think about all this?
Oh, they think I'm dumb. They think I have a friend group at school that I hang out with, and they don't want me to play cornhole. They want me to play soccer with them. I'm like, I don't want to play soccer. I'm already in cornhole.
They don't get it.
No, they don't get it. They don't get it.
Did you tell them I can potentially get on ESPN?
Yes, I told them that, and I've been on ESPN, and ever since then they've been nicer to me.
What's it gonna take?
So why don't you bring them over to the cornhole world then? If they're trying to get you to go play soccer, just tell them, no, soccer's dumb. Come play cornhole.
Yeah, one of my friends, his name is Ryder. He's been to a few switch holios, and it was really fun. Well, I got partnered with him one time. It was hard because I've taught him how to throw a cornhole bag. He knows how to spin it and stuff, but he's not consistent with it. He had fun that night though, but we lost that game. It's fun.
As long as they have fun, I mean, that's how you get hooked.
It was a lot of fun.
I think it's got to be so weird for fellow kids to see, because there's not a lot of kids that play cornhole in the scheme of the world. There is in our little world, but they must think they must think it's crazy.
Yes.
So what is it like for you whenever you're in school? You go to school, you go through your classes. Are you focused on school, or are you just dying to get back on the boards, and then you get out of school, you go practice right away, or what do you do? What's a normal day look like for you?
So if it's I just got out of school, so my days in the summer, or I just come to my shop, or I sleep in, come to my shop and practice for probably 2 hours, and then I'll play basketball a little bit, and then play video games a little bit. And
what's
then
your practice routine? Do you play against yourself with 8 bags, or just 4 bags, or situations?
No,
what do you do?
So I have this paper, and it's so first I do a deca, and then I play go 7 rolls, go 7 air mails, and then go 7 you have to do 2 and 2. So go 7 rolls and air miles combined, and then I do how many how many rolls I can get out of 20, and how many air miles I can get out of 20, and then I do block flop air mile pushes, like what I can get out of 10, and then I just finish off with a deca, and then I'll play with my sister or my dad.
You're beating a Ghost 7 by rolling?
Yeah, I beat it most of the time.
Meesh, can you beat a Ghost 7 normal?
No. I was gonna say I can't roll a bag, but no to both of those is the reality of the situation. Your sister's getting pretty good, though, I hear.
Yes, like before we've been practicing, and my dad, we playing basketball, and he won $320 from me, and my sister gets a Ghost 9 every time, and she beat me.
Wow.
Yes, it was like 21-17, I think. 21-15, one of those two. I can't remember.
Crazy. All right, we're going to take a quick break and come back with more just right after this. All right, so your sister is beating you now. How old is your sister?
8. Yeah, 8.
Okay.
8.
Okay.
It was,
Man,
I remember 7 or 8, but it's
so that's about when you started.
I started like 8. Yeah.
Yeah.
8-ish. Yeah, 8-ish, 9-ish.
So crazy.
So
I mean,
your
practice routine is elaborate. Now, I guess if you've been listening, a lot of the conversation has been that, yes, you need to know how to do all those shots, but you need to be a hybrid player. So are you practicing just trying to get as many bags in the hole as well?
Yes, I'll do Deca, I'll play Ghost 10, play Ghost 11, and I'll also practice my rolls and air miles and then blocks and every shot possible I can practice. I'll try to practice all of them. And
yeah.
Yeah.
You don't get bored, huh?
Sometimes I do. That's why I'll practice for an hour, then I'll go play basketball, and then I'll go play my video games, and then I'll practice for another hour, and just keep repeating that process so I don't get bored.
Yeah, smart.
That's crazy that you have such an elaborate routine at such a young age. Is that something you came up with on your own, or your parents came up with it for you?
No, my dad actually came up with it, and I just go with it.
It seems to be working right now. I mean, Nick Thompson has dubbed you the future. So I believe it was New Mexico. You had a deep run. I think you fell to Carson Getty. You put on a phenomenal battle with Ian Cripps, who was your partner at this last Open. And Nick Thompson was like, we got to start calling him the future after that. So what do you think about your new nickname?
I love it because hopefully the future is true.
That wouldn't surprise me. I mean, we start to see players coming in younger. You know, Tony Smith is one of those players that started very young, which is more rare in our adults.
Mm-hmm. And Bella and KB, those two.
I mean, they're pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're really good.
They dabble. They dabble.
This past weekend was on fire. I was surprised he didn't win.
Same.
Yeah, speaking of KB, I mean, he's going to age out this year, so you're okay as far as that goes. But then another strong player you got down in Texas, Sammy Soto, he's underage. And then you got all these ridiculously talented players coming out of Texas, and it helps you because it makes you better playing against these type of players.
Yeah,
but then it also kind of hurts you because whenever you go to the state championships or the conferences, you're not going to really finish as far as some of the other juniors across the country. So talk about your competition. Do you feel like that's a benefit more, or do you feel like, man, I kind of wish I played my conferences elsewhere?
It's a benefit because I think if I play better competition, I'll get better and I'll find ways how to play people and then I'll just play them like that, study people, and then just play them how their weakness. So we got a lot of good people in our conference. We have one of the best conferences.
Agreed. Speaking of which, learning from these other players, like when you're trying to learn a new shot, like a roll or a flop, like, are you asking them to teach you? Are you watching and then just repeating? Like, how are you learning these more, difficult shots?
So for my roll bag, I saw Caleb Batson. He came to one of my regionals in my hometown, and he was hitting rolls like crazy. And I practiced like I would go like shorter than 27 feet, probably like 10 feet, and just practice that same stuff that he does. And then I got farther and farther, and then I was starting to make them.
So you watched him. You just watched what he did.
Yes.
Got it. Is that the same for like your cuts and your flops and everything?
My cuts kind of came with the roll because like I can like tilt the bag and like I can tilt it this way or the way the cut or reverse cut all I needed, and like nose down, like up, like just tilting the bags. Like it all came with the roll bag.
Okay, so the roll bag's kind of like the entry into all the other shots.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that your favorite shot to throw?
Huh?
Is that your favorite shot to throw?
No, my favorite shot to throw is a bar of soap. It's just so fun hitting them.
So you don't turn down an opportunity to go after. You're like the young kids. You see a squirrel, you're like, ooh, I'm going after it.
Yeah.
Now the bar of soap, is it just hitting it super hard and then the right spot, or is there anything else to it?
No, so you have to, if you hit it in the right spot and throw it, like, you have to throw it. It's pretty much the same throughout all the bar soaps, but like if it's a lower bar soap, you gotta throw it harder. And like Ian hit a bar soap on Hunter Thorne this weekend, and I thought he was just trying to go push through it, and he threw it a normal push, and it just bar soaped him.
I saw that.
I didn't even realize it would happen.
It was like a sneaky one.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, his was kind of soft. I was surprised. One thing I love about watching you, Brayden, and it really drew me to kind of focus on watching your games a little bit closer, is whenever you're in doubles. I mean, you fire yourself up in singles, but when you're in doubles, you almost take on that coaching role, and it doesn't matter if it's somebody younger than you or if it's somebody older than you. I don't care if you're playing with Damon Dennis. You're still going to be coaching them up on the other end, trying to fire them up, and just that enthusiasm. That's something you don't see in the young division. We have a problem right now in the young division, which is they're pretty quiet. Interviewing them, talking, they're all kind of quiet. You're the exact opposite about it. Have you always been like that, just outgoing and energetic?
Yeah, kind of. Like, and I used to play other sports, and I was always like, when I would hit like a 3 in basketball or something, I would always fire myself up and gain confidence from that. And it just always was fun doing it.
Yeah, it's more fun than being quiet, right?
Yeah, like I feel like it would be like just quiet. You'd just be over there like this, just like throwing a cornhole bag. But I'd love to be smiling and have energy.
Do you feed off the crowd, or do they kind of make you nervous?
I feed off the crowd. I love playing. Like I play better than my normal game when I play on a broadcast court. And
yeah, see, that's what's going to take you to the end, because those are the moments when you have to play your best. It doesn't really matter if you play your best before those moments. What gets you consistent wins is being able to have that make you better, having pressure essentially make you better, rising to that occasion. I do think it sounds like other sports have helped you accomplish that.
Yes, like cornhole was the main, where I got like pumped up in all my games. Like my dad has always told me, you're a great partner like to play with, because I always pump up other people. Like when I played with Caleb, you know how he's always so quiet, him and Eddie? Like he was talking to me, and we had a fun time together. And we're gonna play in Wisconsin. Can't say it right.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes. And
all right. Yes. That's amazing. All right, Brayden, we are out of time. It has been so awesome to connect with you and learn more about you and your game. I've learned a lot, so thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Y'all have a good rest of the day.
You too.
All right, y'all have a good one.
Okay. Bye. All right, that was awesome. We have our next guest. Are you ready, Wally?
I'm ready.
All right, bring him on. It is the one, the only, Nic Feinstein. How's it going?
What up, dude?
Good. How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Doing good. For those who don't know who he is, he owns this little establishment called the Whole 9 Yards. And if you've been there, it is not little. It is actually very impressive. So I'm so excited about what you've built over there. I'm jealous, actually, that we don't have it over here. But yeah, like, congrats on what you've built.
Thank you. It was a long 3 years of planning into what you see today. I've been open about 7 months now and growing every month, and obviously just had ACL open, shootout, everything in town, and it was just bananas. We even had 41 in a blind draw last night with people not getting flights until today and rental cars and stuff. So even Monday we were still seeing some follow over traffic. So it was pretty cool to see a bunch of the big names in the building. Our locals were blown away. So
I bet. I mean, I bet you kind of. I know. I was say, I bet you kind of wish the ACL came to town more often.
Oh yeah, I mean, just especially with that. I mean, a lot of these players see him on TV, and it's not really, it's not always real. And then all of a sudden, you see those players side by side, and it's like, you're in your hometown, and you see these guys throw bags side by side where you play, and you just realize how much better they truly are. Like, I always joke there's these advanced players that are running around like, oh yeah, I bet I could hang with them, and they come in town, and it's like, I don't even want to throw on their side. I'm like, hey, you just told me last Tuesday you were going to whoop up on them when they came in town, and then you see them throw, and they're like running away to the other side of the board. So it's kind of funny, But
that is. Well, talk us about that 3 years of planning. I would love to hear how this all came into fruition, how you birthed the idea and made it happen.
So, unlike your previous guest, I've been playing for 16 years. So, the biggest challenge with cornhole has always been, where do we play? And, I jokingly use the phrase, like, we always borrow somebody else's house. Golf has a home, tennis has a home, pickleball has a home now, pool, darts, everybody has a home. Cornhole's been, we're in somebody else's parking lot, we're in somebody else's banquet room, we're in somebody else's gymnasium, like, we're in somebody else's VFW, like we're somewhere else. And the problem with that is you try to plan these big events, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, hey, this came up, you guys are out. And so you're trying to run a league, you're trying to run a whatever, and you can never execute it because of a lack of a venue. But, cornhole is also challenging because, unlike a pool table, unlike darts, it takes up a lot of square footage. You figure an average court is 8 feet by 45 feet. That's a lot of square footage, which is why most bars won't dedicate that, because the mindset is always turn and burn 60 to 90 minutes. Well, with cornhole, it's just a little bit different of a model. People are here 3.5 to 5.5 hours average. So basically, you might know this guy rather closely, but Todd and I are partners in Whole 9. And so him and I really just sat down. And so when we started planning, like, I looked at everything from a player side. Like, I've been playing for 16 years. What's everything that bothered me? Like shadows, fixing boards, like nowhere for guests. People wanted to follow people around, and it was like there was nowhere to follow them around too. So that's where you guys saw like our brown couches. Those actually aren't for players, they're for guests. So like when people have their little entourage that follows around, like they're close enough to put the streaming up and do stuff like that, but then they're out of the gameplay as well. So, and then Todd listed everything from the director's side, like tablets dying, setting up boards, having to remeasure. So that's why we have like the painted lines and stuff like that. Not just for fair gameplay, but for ease of knowing, like, you're not sitting there adjusting the boards. People are training. We even went with the All Cornhole Pro Series. So like everybody training to go pro is using the same equipment that they would see at ACL tournaments and stuff like that. So really everything we tried to look at was like how to make a director's job easy and how to make the best player experience. Like, my staff might punch me in the face if I say it one more time, but everything for us is player experience. Like, I want every single time that they come into this building that they leave saying like, that was awesome, whether it's a regional, whether it's a conference, whether it's a Tuesday switch, or whether it's a clinic where we're bringing in some local pros to hand out tips. Like, we really want to push that player experience, and that's what we tried to do. And even like our menu and our food and drink menu is catered towards like how people are playing. Like, we do a lot of finger foods and stuff like that. That's easy to grab. We even like rebuilt our menu for stuff that stays warmer, because people will eat between games. So like, unlike a restaurant where you sit down and start chewing down, like Here, you may eat a little bit, go play a game, eat a little bit. So we really built a menu that stays warm longer and it's easy to eat as you go throughout. Like, you're not sitting there trying to eat a big old burger, making a mess, and then you got to go grab your bags and put grease all over my floor. So, yeah.
That's a good thing that you said
so
that at the
cool.
beginning, because a lot of people out there just like to complain about stuff and they don't really turn it into a solution. So, I mean, Jimmy Humans, I'm sure, thanks you very much for spray painting the lines down where the boards go. He's always measuring court number 1 for me. And I don't care if it's measured 17 times, it's going to be wrong the 18th time for him. But no, I definitely like that approach, taking the negative and turning it into a positive, not just a positive, but something that is truly amazing. As far as the player experience goes, I had a blast, except for whenever you rigged the bracket to play me twice. I don't know what that was all about. I don't know why we were attacking me.
Sometimes you got to shoot your shot, So.
Pick the right times. I was having a good time out there. So
yeah, it was a real good time. And I mean, it's funny because, I know my role in the cornhole world. I tried the pro thing for a couple of years, and like honestly, like those Friday, that Thursday night with the pre-swap thing, like that was just a blast. Getting to see everybody and all the big names. You got Rich from BG showing up. You got some high-level pros showing up. Like it was a really cool experience. And then we're just getting on the boards, getting to play against people that you see on these podcasts and stuff like that. And it's super cool. So I appreciate you guys coming out, minus the tequila. So,
yeah. Just happened to fall in my shot glass, and I had to get rid of it.
You had no choice.
Yeah.
No, it's all those details did not go unnoticed. I mean, the long couches, the booths, the comfort of everything, the food options. Like, I definitely took all that into place. I guess. My next question after we got to take a quick break when we come back, but I want to know big plans. Like, are we going to get more of these around the country? Because we need them. So take a quick break and come back right after this. All right, Nick, like I said, you've only been open 7 months and we already want them everywhere we live aside from Arizona. So what are the big picture plans for the whole 9 yards?
I mean, the big picture plan would obviously be to go multi-location. I think the biggest thing is obviously we're 7 months in. The first 60 days, every single day we were making changes. Then we were making changes every week, and now we've kind of got down to where we're making changes every month. And so we always said location 1 was the blueprint. We're still in that blueprint, which 7 months in, we haven't even hit seasonality yet. So I don't know, summer, winter, spring, we opened October 1. So we essentially opened day 1 of the ACL season. So I haven't even seen that downtime yet in that August, September, where everybody's going to the throwdown, or they're going to surf rodeo, or they're going to these, other larger non-ACL tournaments and stuff like that. So what is that stuff going to look like? So, my goal was always to, get through a year. I've talked to a couple other people that have some venues or warehouses or other types of stuff around the country, and they've got different seasonality issues. So I think that's another thing that I would love to get to the multi-location. But even our food menu, we're on version 3.5 of our food menu because we had these grand ideas and we thought this was going to smash, and then it went a totally opposite direction. So we're still in that experimental stage. But actually, ironically, Thursday night was insane because, we had a manager running the front desk and she was running the ACL tournament. And then I had my managers on the floor. So I was actually technically a player Thursday night, which was awesome. I had more conversations about bringing this to another location than I did anything else. I mean, it was insane. I mean, I was joking. I think I was 8 to 10 inquiries deep of people saying Texas, Washington, Nevada, Colorado.
100% need St. Louis.
Yeah, in St. Louis.
California.
California would be amazing. Actually, I got a really funny story. We ran one of the Western conferences here, and Richard Morgan's the director for the Western Conference. He said it was faster for him to drive from San Diego, set up his computer on our tablets, and than it was for him to load boards, get them in a trailer, get to the venue, unload them, measure them, set up tablets and stuff. He said the drive from California to Arizona was a faster setup for him than trying to set up locally. And so to me, that was huge. You know, that was like,
crazy.
that's what we wanted. I mean, we'll pivot almost every single day. Like on a Sunday, if we see a spike in numbers, we'll split brackets, we'll set up a new tournament. It's not just like what we decided to do today is what we're going to do. Like there's a lot of read the room situations and stuff. So that's the goal of the venue is it's just cornhole 24/7, and hopefully we can do cornhole 24/7 in 50 states, because I think that's where the growth is at. You know, the growth and a little bit of the legitimacy. You know, I think that everybody playing in different venues and different environments and stuff like that creates inconsistency. But like if we can get venues like this across the country, that's what pushes the sport to another level. You know, playing for 16 years, it was the same 13 guys for like the first 4 years we played. And then it was the same 30 people. And then like even some of the smaller groups that have survived around us, it's like it's the same 20 people that go there. But if you pull up our blind draw on a Tuesday night, there's 40 names you don't know. And that's where like the growth of us is like we're pulling in so many new players, and even how we market. Like we have a separate Facebook group that caters towards competitive cornhole players, but then all of our like branded social goes towards new players, because we really want to drive that new traffic in. You know, we want to introduce people to the sport. Like I think you guys saw, like the first thing on our shelf is we got 50 sets of ACL stamped bags. So the first thing they're ever throwing is an ACL stamped bag, and they're like, what is this stamp for? And that kind of introduces the conversation to the ACL and everything else. And then that brings them into local points, that brings them into a regional. Like we're pushing almost 180 to 220 in a regional once a month. So our regional numbers are huge. State this year is going to be pushing 450. So like our numbers are just going really big on what we've done. And the focus has just been like growing the sport. You know, I know you know me as Whole Nine, but I also started another company, Bags Boards, and the same thing. Like the whole passion behind that was just growing this sport. You know, like we started the whole little patch craze with the Velcro and stuff like that. And the point of that was like to help new groups grow. You know, it was a super low cost for them to make some money and buy some boards and buy some tablets. And I don't know, it's just always been number one passion for me, has just been introducing people to the sport. And that's where the whole major focus of this is. Like competitive cornhole people, they'll always find it. They're junkies. They'll I mean, you could put a Facebook link in the 100th page of a website and they'll still find that tournament. But how do we make the ease of registration, the ease of signing up for new players? And that's where our biggest focus is with Whole Nine, is new players and bringing them in. Like we offer free clinics almost every single month to kind of like help people feel comfortable, you know, because you get that backyard warrior that like feels like he's awesome. And then he comes into a blind draw and he's like, you know, he's the first person out. And he's like, man, I beat up on my friends. Like, what happened? And it's like, well, you know,
cornhole different.
Yeah, cornhole players, their bags and their Zukas and their jerseys, they can be a bit intimidating. So like, how do we kind of break that mold and break that like ease of bringing them in? And that's where I think the environment and everything else, that it just doesn't feel like a warehouse with boards set up. It feels like an environment to come in and learn. And you know, we really push like uppers and lowers, and sometimes we'll even run socials. So like free entry tournaments that like nothing's on the line. And then also with nothing on the line, it moves a lot of the competitive cornhole players out of that bracket. So they're playing against other new people. It puts them in a more or less intimidating environment and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
do you see it like the bowling alley model at all?
So we jokingly say if Top Golf and a bowling alley had a baby for cornhole, that's what we're trying to accomplish here. What makes cornhole, in my opinion, super special and super unique is that it is community, it is family. So like you guys saw the other night, like we had 300 plus people in here. We have 18 tables. Like, because we've even had to change our service structure and everything, that like people will have one table. Despite there being 6 chairs, there might be 12 to 15 people at that one table with 4 different tabs going, because they all hang out in groups.
Yeah, I don't think we sat down at all, really.
Yeah. So like bowling and Top Golf is very like lane specific. Like bowling, you stay at lane 1 the entire time. Like Top Golf, you stay at lane 6 the entire time. With cornhole, you may be 1 to 4 to 7 to 13 to 14, you know, whatever it is, how you move throughout the venue. So when we really designed the layout, It was that you had a home base, but then you kind of went out there. It made it easy to move around the venue, and that's why the tables are to the center and the couches are to the outside. So then the entourage can kind of follow around, but you have your food, your drinks, your bags all kind of centrally located so that you can move around the venue with ease. So the bowling alley model is somewhat there. We've taken some hints from that, but at the same time, the venue is just used differently and how the space is used. So, and that's back to that learning. Like, again, we've changed the layout 3 times since we've been open. So as we continue to learn, but sometimes you just got to stop talking and listen. And Wally hit the nail on the head. Like, a complaint is actually, to me, that's the most beautiful thing. If somebody's complaining, that means they care enough to say something. If people don't care, they walk away.
My live feeds wouldn't be the same if people didn't complain. I mean, I take all those complaints. I joke about it while I'm on the air, but then off the air, I go home and I cry a little bit and I think about
it. Make Wally cry. Oh, man, this is like so fascinating. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but it has been so cool to learn more about the facility, and I can't wait to watch it grow. And every time we come to Arizona, it's definitely the spot to hit. So thanks so much for what you created.
Awesome. You guys are welcome anytime. I love to have you. So
thanks so much, Nick.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Yep. All right, we'll take a quick break, and then we'll come back with your highlights right after this. Wally, you put together highlights from what? Where are we looking at?
So this is from the last open that we just had. So we just came back from Mesa, Arizona. So due to the time constraints and the different time zones, landing back here a little bit later than normal, getting everything unloaded, and then waking up and then doing this and getting ready to go. We had to basically just run them back to back to back to back. So we're not going to do the breakdown as far as airmails, awkwards, pushes, and all that stuff. It's just all in one. So
it's a free-for-all.
It's a free-for-all. We got about 8 minutes of highlights here. So here we go. Starting things off with our favorite. There's the Ryan Smith, awkward knuckles there with Joe Nathan.
Oh, man. It's always so good.
Yeah. But, I mean, you got your usual heavy hitters in this one, just doing heavy hitter things. I mean, Devin Harbaugh, Jake Trzynski over the top with these airmails, leaving the piles in place. For those of you that are asking, yes, the awkward knuckles highlight reel is in the works. I should have that ready for Portland. So we head out to Portland tomorrow, and then it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm still just such a huge fan of the airmail drives, that little corner sitting on there.
I know.
Might across center line there, Vincent. Be careful, bud.
Careful, Vince. They're coming for you.
Yeah, this was your birthday present. Remember, Meesh?
This was my birthday. Oh, I remember my birthday present. Absolutely.
It did not disappoint. Those are really, really good
match.
I mean, this is so far. This is just one match of all those highlights that we've seen so far. Man,
crazy. Oh, that is they're all human highlight reels. So that's what you're gonna get.
Yeah. Speaking of human highlight reels, Ian Cripps was just on a whole nother level. Every single time we get this kid on broadcast, he does not disappoint. He's hitting rolls, pushes, airmails.
Woo!
I mean, look at that little roll collect on the side. Brayden finished it off on his side with the then you got Tony right there. He's like, I'm not giving awkward knuckles. I'm going to dangle it right here and just wait for you to make the first move.
You're going to feel out the room.
Yeah, he was smart. Look at that. Just
that's
one bag
insane.
in front,
How does that bag not fall?
Back. Insane.
Crazy.
Man, we'll talk a little bit
more throughout the
season. Was that the one? Go back a little bit.
That was it, wasn't it? Oh. Here we go. Did I go back?
There's the triple collect. Leaves them both on each side.
Okay.
I
went back a little far.
Yeah, we didn't think he even threw this one that hard, but he was able to get underneath it, slick side, pops it on the back, and then collects. Big shot right there. Got the audio off, but Brayden Wilson's down the other end, fired up off of that shot.
Yeah, he was.
And then a roll collect. What else is he going to do here? Just another roll, just nasty.
What else can he do?
Kid Wonder in the future. I low-key like that pairing. Like, we're going to talk more and more throughout the rest of the season here as the juniors division starts to kind of wind down to see who can make it in. But I love what we're seeing out of Ian Cripps and Brayden Wilson. And I want more of it.
Me too. Oh, there's the star, the women's star.
Mira Mir is on fire. And then we got, those are late. That's not on Gina. That's on Vanessa. Those are late knuckles right there.
That was. She went past the window of when you should be expecting it.
Yeah, it's like you're not supposed to cross over center board. Poor Ryan. He couldn't
That
get nothing.
sucks.
He couldn't get nothing to fall in that shootout match. And then even in overtime, he just had to push. Bars open himself back, sets on the back, doesn't go. He's definitely made a name for himself this season. Hopefully
Absolutely.
is on the same page. A little cut collect there from Alec Ryan.
Got it surrounded.
Jordan Kimber right here. This could have been his broadcast instead of Mark Richards' broadcast.
Yeah, could have been.
He's shooting very, very well recently. Him and Blaine, I like that pairing as well.
Got that same bag. Oh God!
And just leaving that blocker in place, cutting around on the side. Noah Wooten is so good at throwing sticky side and getting collects on either side
I
of the hole.
know. It's like crazy. You would think he'd flip the bag. He doesn't even need to.
See, players like this right now, they're not even using the front of the hole anymore. They're kind of sneaking around the side and going in from that 3 o'clock or 9 o'clock position. Like for players like us that are trying to improve, how do we compete with that?
You can't.
Like you're like, okay, if I get a blocker down against this guy, I got a good shot. And then
nope.
No.
Well, most people, the block alone just gets in their head. I mean, not most people. Most people are level.
Yeah.
Most people, their level doesn't.
I was like, haha, perfect block. And then they leave that blocker there. I'm like, well, now what do I do?
Yeah, you're like, no, I don't want to deal with it. You're supposed to be thrown off by it, not me.
All right. Yeah.
Second here. Oh, it's a slow fall.
Yeah, you got that drip. Big push right there, deep on the
Such a
board
good
from
push.
Krasinski. Game's over. Give me my knuckles. I deserve them.
Before he even threw the bag. Oh man, Jacob.
Gavin might be
watch
over
out
the line.
now.
Might be over the center line.
A little bit.
Just walk up the board. Go where you want. It's fine.
Oh,
Man,
almost.
and again, Fisher Hamilton and Gavin Cano finished second in the bracket here. This could have been their third shootout finish in a row.
There he is. The future.
Again. Just 3-bag push up the board like it ain't nothing. Those aren't even his bags. Good run from D-Boy this weekend, too. D-Boy was great.
He did. He had a lot of great games.
Yeah, and then here's Jeff over here getting sneaky. Good to see him back on the boards. Hopefully you see more out of him going forward. Austin Renard, we just got done our little collab, and he came real close. He was shooting very well in this match against Nick and Andrew. Brought him back to it. A chance right here to keep it going, and that's how you lose the game. You bar a
Oh, God. The bag just not working in your favor there.
Vincent cutting around is just nasty. That's your boy, Meesh. You know, that's your boy.
He's good. He is good.
So he'll be a junior next year as well, right? He stays junior pro one more time, right?
Well, he's PDC. I'm hoping he gets moved up to pro.
Yeah, so I did have a conversation with Trey about that. So we'll have to keep an eye out for the juniors, you know, what they qualify as a pro next year. Again, on that side of the hole, it's just ridiculous. It's not even fair. Poor Alec.
No.
Alec had no love. Like
the bags did not give him any love. They did not. Sometimes that happens. That's cornhole gods.
Yeah, I don't know how Ryan's able to double clutch and then refocus and hit not only that shot, but then this one here. Look at this. Ryan sees room.
I remember this. Yep. I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought anything would have even fallen.
Yeah, no, and he actually got 2 points out of that. Like when I was looking at that, I was thinking he's giving up 3 points. I thought there was no possible way.
I thought it was trampolining. Trampolining? Is that a word?
Yep, I like it. But I mean, we look at the pro standings or the junior standings. Sammy Soto, he has just continued to go deep in bracket. Had a great run. Ran into Moses, who was just on fire.
He was.
6-side collect right there for 7 points for the win.
I'm wondering if it's going to keep it going. You know, we're going into Portland, so it's same time zone. I will see if Moses can keep that streak. God, that's nasty.
Yeah, there were 5 shots in this little highlight reel with players going in on that right side of the hole with nothing there. And then the very next shot from Damon Dennis going up top, dragging them all.
We're all cleaning up.
On fire. I mean,
yeah.
I love to see it. Pacing is becoming a storyline, Meesh. We saw with Kingsbury, Alan Rawls, Damon Dennis. I mean, if
They
players
play their
don't learn how to
pace.
deal with the pacing, they're going to be in trouble.
Well, they play their pace, which is not most people's pace, and so you
Yep.
have to adjust, and it'll get you.
Caleb with different level roles, airmails. Caleb Batson, not taking anything away from Damon Dennis. Caleb Batson was the best player at this last Open.
Agreed.
And it's
I give
unfortunate he's not
him
walking away with
MVP.
the title. And a lot of players, too, they're getting really good at using that bag as a bumper to redirect. It's like they've been listening to me as I've been coaching. When I go back through these highlight reels and I talk about things, like they're taking my advice.
Wally told me, so it's important.
I fixed everything.
If Wally says it, it
one.
must be true. And one. That's how we're going to end it right there.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. We are out of time, but we will see you guys all next time. And for those of you going to Portland, we'll see you there.